There's a lot to unpack here with the Eagles and the Cowboys. Eagles are 13-1 going up against their NFC East divisional rival, the Dallas Cowboys. This line has done backflips. Philly opened up, I believe, as a 1-point favorite. And with the injury news from Hurts, it was all the way up to having them be a 6-point dog. And I think right now it's settled at 5 on Caesars. You can correct me on that. I doubt this is the last time that we're going to see this line move. It seems like a lot of bettors are still on Minshew mania. They're not really buying the flip here. Tell me more about this movement and what you think.
Well, yeah, no, Monday, the news sort of, I guess, leaked out somewhere, and we started seeing a rash of bets on Dallas, and the spread was going up. Dallas was actually a small favorite, I think, when we opened it up Sunday after the Sunday games. Line went up all the way up to 6. Now it's back down to 5. The MVP odds, there's a lot of bets coming in on Patrick Mahomes because it alters that. So, we put 2 and 2 together and then took the game down for a little bit. Then the news came out that, Jalen Hurts might have to miss this game. Now they're sort of backtracking. They're saying he may play. But, look at the game. It's Eagles-Cowboys. It's the biggest rivalry in the NFL. So there's a lot of gamesmanship going on. So we'll see if Hurts actually plays. Obviously, if he does play, he won't be 100%, but the line will drop further. If it comes out that Minshew's definitely playing, might creep up a little bit. But look, the Eagles are not a one-man show, even though Jalen Hurts has had a phenomenal year.
Yeah.
The Eagles have a solid running game. Their defense is great. So, yes, Jalen Hurts is better than Gardner Minshew. But look, this isn't Gardner Minshew's first rodeo. He's played in the NFL before. He started games. So the Eagles are more than Hurts. Obviously, they'd like to have him, and they'd like to definitely clinch the number 1 seed in Dallas. Nothing would make them more happy, but they have to look at the big picture. But, for this week, we have to go by what the latest news is. And, the lines come down because of them saying, well, Hurts may play, but we'll see what happens. I think it's a lot of gamesmanship, but, the Eagles have to look at the big picture. They got 2 winnable home games in which they can clinch that number 1 seed coming up after this week. So, but yeah, anytime you have a starting quarterback in the NFL, and especially the MVP favorite as of last week, if he's questionable, the odds are going to shift dramatically.
And maybe there is no standard, but is there kind of a standard shift or dock in the line for a starting quarterback to go down? Is it usually 3 points, 5 points?
It depends who it is. I mean, obviously, and it depends on the caliber of the team as well. The 49ers, we didn't see that big a drop when Brock Purdy replaced Jimmy Garoppolo. If a team is good, they're good, and they can withstand those losses more than others. But it all depends on who the backup is. Joe Burrow goes out, that might be a bigger discrepancy because Allen is not the most tested quarterback. But it just depends who their backup is and the overall strength of the team. But again, look, we've seen it time and time again where backup quarterbacks come in and they win games. Talking about Eagles, Cowboys, Cooper Rush, got the Cowboys close late in the game. Eagles end up winning by 2 scores, but it was close late in the game. So there's no reason why Gardner Minshew, if he were to start, were to go into Dallas and win, it wouldn't be a surprise. I mean, look, Dallas just almost lost to the Texans, so anything's possible. But it's not as easy as just looking, well, Hurts is out, the Eagles have no chance. It's definitely not the case. Their record is what it is for a reason, and it's not just Jalen Hurts, even though he has a lot to do with it. But yeah, quarterback injuries obviously shift the line the most, but it just depends on the overall quality of the team and who the backup is. If it's a first-time starter, then yeah, it's probably going to affect the line more than someone who has played in the NFL before and started games.
Okay, yeah, and Minshew, of course, has a lot of games under his belt. And like you said, I don't think it's that far of a drop-off. And you can't necessarily trust the Cowboys right now. I mean, they just lost to the Jags last week. So let's talk about this MVP. You kind of alluded to it already with Jalen Hurts and the MVP. He was the favorite, and now with this injury, which is not long-term, and like you said, he might play. I think Sirianni's kind of playing with us a little bit. I don't think that he is actually going to play this week. But we saw that his MVP odds plummeted. He's no longer the favorite. He's behind Patrick Mahomes, and he's at plus 550. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, pretty crazy. Like I mentioned before, I saw that the move Monday, combined with the move on Dallas and the move on Patrick Mahomes to start taking a lot of bets. We put 2 and 2 together and figured that Hurts was out. But yeah, quite a drastic change. It was kind of a 2-horse race between Mahomes and Hurts. Now judging by the odds, it's a one-man race with Patrick Mahomes. You have the $3 favorite to win MVP. Hurts, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow all at 5.5 to 1. So it looks like a race for second for now. But look, anytime you get late in the season, injuries happen. It's in in a market like this, in an MVP that's voted on, it's a lot different than any other future. I mean, look, if Jalen Hurts isn't playing and Patrick Mahomes is, that's
Yeah,
not good for his MVP chances.
right.
And even if he might play one more game, Mahomes might play three more games. So obviously, Mahomes, he's leading in passing yards, leading in touchdown passes, has a few more interceptions this year than normal, but Mahomes is definitely the favorite. He's putting up consistent numbers. He had a good week last week, even though they barely beat the Texans. Burrow had 4 touchdowns last week, only 200 yards. Hurts had a good game as well. No passing touchdowns, a couple interceptions, but 3 rushing touchdowns. But basically, it comes down to when you get here late in the season in an MVP or an awards market, it's what have you done for me lately? People react to what
Yes.
they saw last. And look, if Jalen Hurts isn't playing and Patrick Mahomes is and puts up decent numbers, over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, that's just going to cement his role as a favorite. And if Jalen Hurts doesn't play, he's likely to go behind, Burrow and Josh Allen if they have good games. So you need to be playing. And even though, Jalen Hurts, obviously, if he shut it down right now, there'd be no issue with giving him the MVP award. He's done phenomenally this year. But
Yeah.
but he's not. If he's not playing, that hurts his MVP chances.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've seen the line for the Cowboys game flip, obviously in favor of the Cowboys with this injury. We've seen it plummet for MVP, at least Jalen Hurts, and it makes sense because there's only one person. But as far as like the futures odds for the Eagles, they haven't really seemed to move for Super Bowl and, of course, to win the conference. Do you expect if he is injured longer or if Minshew plays well or plays bad that these odds will kind of shift for the Eagles for the conference and also for the Super Bowl?
I don't think too much. Unless Jalen Hurts is ruled out for the rest of the year, then obviously they'll change. Now it sounds, at least what they're saying, it sounds like it's a week-to-week type of thing. So obviously you're not going to drastically move the Super Bowl odds when it
Right.
looks like, for the information we know now, that he will be back for the playoffs. If that changes, and obviously that's going to be, a drastic change from going from Jalen Hurts to Gardner Minshew. Not a huge shift, not like the odds are going to be double, but the odds would go up if Jalen Hurts were to be ruled out for the year. But that's why there wasn't any major change with the Eagles' future odds, knowing that this is a week-to-week injury and not something that's a long-term injury. So if that news comes out, then obviously that will change.